Sam is a lawyer, mass murderer, meth addict and magic. He has gone on a trip to New Mexico so he can buy crystal meth from Walter Hartwell White after he killed Saul Goodman. The night before Sam had arrived at the town of Albuquerque, New Mexico, he was in his hotel room having just finished a line of crystal meth when there was a knock on his door. He opened it to see an attractive woman standing outside with 2 bags full of drugs. She handed him 1 bag and said, "You got yourself some of this," as he took it from her. She smiled and closed the door behind her, leaving him alone in the room. He put down the bag and opened up his laptop computer to check his email, which he only did once a month. There were 3 messages waiting for him, all saying the same thing. "Sam, I need you to come home. We'd been compromised." 2 of them were from his brother Tom, who had taken over the family business and was now trying to get out of the drug trade, while the 3rd message came from his sister Karen, who worked for the CIA as a covert operative. Then he went and bought meth from Walter White and then headed back to his hotel room, where he would go crazy for the next 48 hours. The next day, the evil Makara boraf, who has orange skin and wore a lot of makeup, showed up at Sam's hotel room to kill him. After that, Sam became a fugitive and the manhunt began, so he moved to New Mexico and hid out until he could find the right moments to attack Brown. Eventually he found the right moments to attack Brown, but instead of killing her, he kidnapped her and brought her into his secret underground lair under the desert. He kept her locked in there until he was ready to use her. Then he went and gave a talk at a local college about the value of education. While he was giving his speech, Brown was tied up naked to a chair in the corner of the room and she wasn't going anywhere. Then he went and grabbed a microphone and started talking about how important education was to success and how hard work will always pay off in the long run. Brown was listening closely because she knew that if Sam didn't kill her soon, she would be dead. Then he looked out at the audience and said, "I'm not sure what you are seeing, but I am going to teach you the secret of the universe. The fact is that everything you want or have ever wanted was sitting right there inside of you from birth." He paused and then said, "So don't give me any crap about lack of opportunity, because the truth is you have more opportunity than anyone else in the history of the world. What you choose to do with your life is up to you." Then Sam and Makara fought to the death. The next morning, Sam woke up in his hotel room with a hangover and feeling like ass. He thought to himself, "Man, I hate being a criminal. I really wish I hadn't sold those guns to that Mexican cartel leader. It's like I'm cursed or something." Then he remembered that he had made a deal with Walter White to get a hold of some meth and he needed to make good on his end of the bargain. So he put on some clothes and went out into the hallway, where he saw an attractive young woman standing by the elevator. The woman was Makara, who had come to kill him. She told him that she had come to finish what they started last night, and he replied, "No way, baby, you know I don't do hookers." But she wouldn't listen to him and she pulled her gun out and pointed it at his head and said, "Don't try to be cute with me. I've got plenty of bullets and I'll blow a hole through your brain if I have to." Sam couldn't believe what he was hearing and he started laughing so hard that he fell over onto the ground. The woman looked down and said, "What's so funny?" and he said, "I just realized that I'm being robbed by a hooker." He laughed even harder and she reached down and hit him across the face with her gun. Then Sam used his gun filled with magic meth bullets and shot her in the testicles. She screamed and dropped her gun and ran away while Sam fell to the floor in pain. It hurt so much that he started crying. But he didn't cry for long because he was still high enough on crystal meth to take care of all the pain. Sam went into his hotel room and watched TV for a little bit and then went and got dressed. Then he went downstairs and asked the desk clerk if he could borrow a car for a few hours. The clerk said no because he was afraid that Sam might rob him or steal his car, but he knew that Sam was a good guy, so he called his boss and told him about Sam. So his boss said that he would rent Sam a car for a couple of hours, but Sam had to promise to return it in one piece. Sam agreed and the clerk gave him keys to a red Nissan Sentra that was parked in the back. Then Sam drove to Walter White's house and knocked on the door. Then Makara answered and Sam shot her. Then she fell to the ground screaming in agony and Sam said, "Come on girl, let's see how tough you are." He picked her up and threw her over his shoulder and carried her to his car and put her inside. He drove to the desert and dumped her body near a small fire that he had made and left her there for the coyotes to eat. Then he went and picked up the rest of his supplies, which consisted of a gas can, a shovel and a large burlap sack. Then he went back to his hotel room and dug a hole in the sand and buried the burlap sack with his supplies inside of it. Then he went to his hotel room and watched a documentary about the illegal drug trade for a few hours and then decided that he was ready to go back to Walter White's place and finish what they had started the previous night. Sam was arrested for his million of crimes. Jarvis Crumb, the honest man alive, and Lawson Dante, whose wife is dead, went to save him. Lawson and Jarvis had both become very successful and wealthy men since they first met each other after they hit a man with their car and robbed him. They were also both big fans of Breaking Bad and had watched every episode multiple times. They went to Sam's house and said that they were his best friends and would help him escape from prison. Sam told them to go fuck themselves and they decided to show him just how dangerous they were. They broke into his house and beat him and stabbed him and shot him and he passed out. Then they tied him up and put him in the trunk of his own car and took off. Meanwhile, Sam was still unconscious and the cops found him in Sam's entire house and dug up his backyard and discovered his secret underground lair. The cops put Sam in jail for a few years and then they set him free. He went and visited Jarvis and Lawson at their fancy office building downtown and he thanked them for saving his life. They said don't mention it and then they asked him why he did such terrible things and Sam told them the story. Then they gave him a job working for them as a janitor and he quit selling guns to the cartels and started making money trading in rare comic books. Sam went to Walter White's house and knocked on the door. Then Makara answered and Sam said, "You remember me?" And she said, "Yes, you're that guy that tried to shoot me in my balls a few days ago," and he said, "That's right. Now what do you say we finish what we started yesterday?" Makara said okay and then they fought to the death and then Sam was driving Walter White's car to his secret underground lair when he got pulled over by a cop. He was so scared that he panicked and accidentally pressed the wrong button on the steering wheel and the car blew up. Sam was thrown out and landed in a field and rolled over and over. Finally he stopped rolling and laid there groaning in pain. Then suddenly a beautiful woman appeared and asked him what happened and he said, "Well, I was driving Walter White's car when I got pulled over and then I accidentally pressed the wrong button on the steering wheel and boom. I guess I was stupid." The woman said, "I'm sorry that happened to you," and Sam said, "It's okay, I'm fine." But he wasn't fine at all. He was dying.